Hello, in today's video we're going to talk about protesting your property taxes. Before I get started, one thing to point out, I'm in Austin, Texas, and this is Travis County. So this is regards to the Travis Central Appraisal District. If you are in another county in Texas or in another state, the process could quite possibly be a little bit different, but I bet there's still some things from this that would also be helpful. Excuse me. All right, so first off, as a homeowner, you have the right to protest your property taxes. And one thing to point out from the beginning, that if you do protest, it's not like they're going to turn around and possibly increase your taxes. It can only go down. I recently attended an event at the Austin Board of Realtors where the head appraisal for TCAD, the Travis Central Appraisal District, was there, and others, and we talked about a lot of different things. So I'm going to share with you the information that I got from that meeting. So yes, so first off, it is your right to protest, and whenever when you get the notices of appraised value, if your market value for your home from the appraisal district increased by $1,000, then that gives you the right to protest. So the first thing is you're going to get it in the mail. You can also log online to look at it. You want to review the appraisal and consider protesting if you think it's too high. Excuse me. If you choose to protest, you want to file it with the district. You'll upload information, supporting documents, what you believe is the reasons why why you think your property taxes should go down. They're going to take that in, and then you're going to have an informal hearing. The informal hearing is either by phone or a Zoom meeting. In that informal hearing, they're going to ask some questions. You can submit your argument about the reasons why. And let's say that after the informal hearing, they make a decision and you still disagree with it. You think that no, either what they gave you as an adjustment down was not enough, or maybe they didn't adjust it down at all. Excuse me. If that's the case, then you can request a formal hearing, and a formal hearing can be in person. It doesn't have to be by phone or Zoom, and it's in front of the Appraisal Review Board. And so what's unique about this, and I was really surprised when I learned this, is that it's an independent, it's citizens board. So it's not appraisers that are going to be up there. These are just citizens that live in the county. And you'll go up, there'll be 3 of them up there, and you present your argument to fellow citizens, which I thought was really, really great. It'll go through the same process. You give some information, you present your argument, they'll take it in, maybe they ask some questions, and then they make their decision. For most people, I think that's probably going to be the end of the line. There is some further options that you can do. You can get resolution through binding arbitration, excuse me, or district court. But for the most part, I think most people probably, once the formal hearing is done, that's going to be kind of the end of the line. There are a few different reasons that you could protest. First off, if you think it's been valued too high, if you believe that the market value that the appraisal district sent you, if you thought it was too much, that's going to be probably going to be the most common. There's another way where it's also possible if you feel that you got an unequal appraisal. If you feel that the district appraised your home at a higher proportion of its value than most properties, generally in your specific, your area, your neighborhood. Also, if there was a failure to grant exemptions, if a special appraisal incorrectly denied or modified your exemption application, that's one. And then the last one is going to be failure to provide notice. If they just didn't give you the required notices, then that could be a reason to protest. And I'm going to put some links down in the comments below, and I'm going to try to put some screens up here. The way that you go about doing this, so May 15th is the deadline to protest, or 30 days after the notice is mailed. I would guess most people it's going to be May 15th is going to be your deadline. So the first thing that you do is you go onto their website and you want to create you create your portal or you create an account, and that's where you're going to follow their instructions to create an online account, and that's where you're going to provide your evidence and supporting material. You're going to add your property to the portal, and then you're going to get a PIN number, or you're going to find the PIN number on your notice of appraised value. Then you're going to request and review TCAD's evident packet. So you can download this. And one thing that is probably a good idea if you're doing this is work with a trusted real estate professional like myself. That's going to kind of help you get some comparables, maybe that's possible to help you with it. You don't have to do it, but it's one thing that you might want to consider. Then you're going to actually file your protest and you submit your evidence, and then you're going to review and then accept or reject their offer. Apparently, you're going to get the verdict by email. So those are going to be the steps leading up to ultimately, if you go all the way through to this, the formal trial. I'll bet most people just do the upload, present their argument, and maybe the informal. But if you really believe that you're it's not fair, then that's why they have the ARB there. By the way, they do the formal reviews happen during the summer. So May 15th is the deadline. Late May is when the formal procedures start, and they go all the way through August, so all the way through the summer. And they also, which I thought was really cool, they gave us some tips about like proper ways to go about it. So the first thing is, if you do end up in front of the formal board, remember, this is it's a formal hearing. You want to dress appropriately and you want to interact appropriately. And I say this because homes, a lot of people have very strong emotions about their homes, and it can create strong feelings that might affect people to the point that maybe they act inappropriately. So, polite language, polite volume, no shouting, no cuss words, no anything like that. You want to be as professional as you can, because remember, the people that you ultimately, which I think is just a fantastic thing, when you get to the formal process, that is going to be citizens and not appraisers that you are presenting your evidence against. It's I think somewhat kind of similar to the way that in trials a jury is of your peers, it's of other citizens. So it's something like that. Another thing, tax rates. Don't argue about tax rates. The ARB, they don't have any say of what the tax rates are. That's set, by and the appraiser has no control over that. So that's, that's not something that you can argue. Also, unfortunately, you can't say, well, I don't have the money. You can't say, well, I don't have the ability to pay. That's not something that's going to get your property taxes dropped. Also, when you're comparing your property to other properties, it's best to have them, close by. Don't put, and definitely 100% don't include any properties that are not within that district. So you wouldn't want to put a property, if you're here in Austin, and list a property in San Antonio or Houston. It's got to be within the same appraisal district, and the closer of proximity and style and size and age to your home is going to be, it makes the references even better. If you're going to, and by the way, they recommended it, photographs are very good, but if you use photographs from the front of your house, you want to make sure that you also are going to show the front views of your neighbor's properties if you were using them as a reference. They mentioned about how crime and noise, it's really difficult to establish that, and that the actual sales prices make for a much stronger argument. So like, let's say you live in an area and it's loud. Maybe there's, maybe over the years, as for example, in Austin, as Austin's grown, different roads have more cars on them, more traffic. And if you're saying, hey, that's a factor, well, that's kind of taken into consideration in the other sales prices. So that's not going to be too helpful for you. And then one more thing I want to point out. I am not an appraiser. I am not part of the ARB. I am a realtor that has sat in and gotten an information session, and I'm just simply sharing that with you. So I am not an appraiser for that. So just consider this whole video just information. One thing that's unique that I thought is that leaking roofs are considered due to a lack of maintenance and will not really help you with an adjustment. So I thought that was very interesting. And don't volunteer improvements that you've made. If you've put in a big old swimming pool in the backyard, don't mention it, because that's obviously going to go in the opposite direction, and in essence, would appraise your home at a higher amount. Also, which is very interesting, is that you have the right to cross-examine the appraiser during the formal hearing. Maybe you can ask them questions. What other properties did they use as comparables, and any other questions you can cross-reference in the formal hearing. So I thought that's interesting. And then coming in really organized is really good. So like, if there's going to be 3 of them up there, so maybe have 3 of the packets of your information. If you've got multiple pictures that you've printed out, any sort of documents in there, have it nice and organized, just as you would kind of like as a trial. You want to go in and be as professional as possible, and that handouts really are effective. If you go on and you're like, here we go, and for whatever your argument is, and you've got supporting documents and it's real nice and organized, it can help you get your argument across and possibly get a reduction in the appraised value, which results in a reduction of your taxes. All right, so once again, I am not an appraiser. I just simply went to a session. I am a realtor and a mortgage broker, but I found that this was so interesting, and I got a lot of information about it, and I just wanted to share it with y'all, and I hope that this video has been helpful to you. Alrighty, have a good day.